Welcome to What We Watch. Welcome to What We Watch, everyone. We got some new faces today. Bruce, you're a regular. If you want to come up, tap on the mic and request to come on up. Let's talk about it. This is going to be a fun space. I'm excited. Has everyone seen all 4 episodes so far? I just watched the 4th one today.
I'm a little behind, but I think I'll be.
How many episodes have you seen?
2.
Okay, that's still good. That's still good. The 3rd one's one of my favorites. Anyone else want to come on up? Don't be afraid. Come on up. So, I don't know if you guys are subscribed to the newsletter, but I told everyone that we're going to be talking about Abbott Elementary. What's really exciting is the team that Quinta Brunson has put together. Okay, it's absolutely amazing. What have you liked about the show so far? We're just going to jump right in. I think it's exciting. On a few of the last spaces, we've talked about comedy and what comedy looks like now and what it means for us. And are you belly laughing at TV shows anymore? And if so, which ones? So I'm really excited that there is a show created by a Black woman that we really and truly all are enjoying. And it's literally 20 minutes of your time to laugh for 20 minutes straight every single week. And I mean, honestly, how can we not do that and need that in a time like this? In a time where, things are not particularly happy all the time. We're in a pandemic, things are crazy. We're in Mercury retrograde right now, so communication is off and weird. And I'm just so happy that we get to laugh at Abbott Elementary. And what's interesting too, what I really appreciate about Abbott Elementary right now is that it is a very specific um, it's a very specific show. It's about an underfunded public school in Philadelphia, in Philly, where my girl Melissa, the Italian resident Italian, gang gang, she's from South Philly. And so we have Janine Teagues, and she's really cares. She's like the most empathetic, loving, I want to be a teacher for the rest of my life character on the show. So come on up. Tell me your favorite character on the show. Tell me some of your favorite lines and why this has brought you, if nothing but respite, and if for me particularly, a ton of laughs. And I'm just really excited that I get to watch this, that we get to watch this. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but the people on their team were part of teams of shows that you love. Randall Einhorn, I think is his name, was a significant part of The Office. So if you love The Office, that's the feel that you're getting here. And Werner Whalian was a significant part of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So if you love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and you love that kind of cadence and you love The Office, you're going to love Abbott Elementary. So come on up. Let me know some of your favorite characters, your favorite episodes. Again, we only have 80 minutes of TV to talk here, so we are going to have a good time. So welcome, Bruce. Talk to me, baby.
All right. So first of all, being someone that's from the greater Philadelphia area.
Okay. So we got Philly in the house. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm from Delaware, but we're right up the street.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna have the Philly people check you on that. Okay, that's fine. Go
No,
ahead.
we're right down the street from
Y'all one
Philly.
block over.
So yeah, we're a few exits down. We're gonna be in Philly in 15 minutes. But yeah, it being set in Philly, beautiful. One of my favorite parts of it
Right?
all. And I think when you said that there's people that are on the teams that have been a part of shows like The Office and other shows, this really screams that, because one thing about me, and one thing I think a tool that makes comedy just chef kiss, you know what I mean, gives it that little extra,
Yes.
is the fourth wall break. Absolutely love
Right. it works, right?
It works so
We've seen it
well.
a ton.
And
Yeah.
I love feeling as if I am an extra cast member, right? Every episode I am a cast member as well, and they play to me, and that just
They
makes it
know,
uh,
right. They know what I'm feeling, they know what I'm thinking. They
right,
know that the way that I looked at this person is also how Janine just looked at the person or Greg just looked at the person.
right.
I'm already like dying laughing just thinking of this last episode.
And we're just
Um,
sharing that insider look of like, come on now, you know,
it's
like
genius. Yeah,
it's
and that's a lot of Randall's work. That's a lot of Warner's work. Yeah, for sure. Sapia, talk to me, baby.
How y'all
Is
doing
anybody
today?
okay? Is anybody from Philly in this room? Click the heart and the plus emoji at the bottom of the space. 100 emoji if you're from Philly. Bruce, you don't count. Okay, has anybody been to Philly? 100 emoji if you've been to
come on.
Philly.
Of course, I've been the
I've been to Philly numerous times. Okay.
Oh,
Katie Lynn, aren't you from Philly, Katie? Or do you live there? Or no? Unmute, babe.
I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, so no, not
Oh,
the
okay.
same.
So no. Have you been to Philly? Has anybody in here
No.
been? I saw a few. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Sapia. Tell me what you're loving about this show so far and like your favorite character.
yeah, for sure. I think that one thing that I absolutely love about the show is obviously it's a feel good show, but then they have brought in so many people who represent past feel good shows. Obviously, you got Everybody Hates Chris in there. You got Moesha, Sheryl Lee Ralph in there. And it's just like when I look at the cast, it's like, oh, these are people that have made me feel good before. So I like the familiarity of that. But I also really, of course, I like the way that they deal with very gently and very lovingly the aspect of an inner city and what it's like to be under resourced and what it's like to be in these positions and the people, all people, right? Because it's not just about the struggles of the teacher. I really liked how they dealt with like even the mother bringing her son to school late, really just not realizing, where her son was at and how that was impeding him, and I think that a lot of times when we think about different situations, especially like with children's educational trajectory, it's really easy to like blame the parents, but that's a whole story going on. You know what I mean? That's often not. It's
Yes.
not often not intentionally abusive, and it's often not given any, respect because the idea, and it is a truth that once you're an adult, you should just know better and you should be doing better. But people aren't always educated on what that looks like or how to. So I really like that particular
Yes.
scene of them being able to come
I
together,
love
and I
that you
also
said they manage it gently. Like
yes,
it's
it's very
gently.
gentle.
The
Yeah,
comedy aspect is how do I make kids that aren't properly educated in in an inner city public school funny? And you
right,
do it with gentle conversation
right.
around their education and their lives. It's I love the way you said that. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think my favorite character is obviously, Janine. I mean, Quinta is just awesome. You know what I mean? And she just brings an endearing quality to everything she does. But I think my favorite interactions between characters thus far was when uh, Greg is the white teacher's name, right? The white guy's name. I think or no, that's the black teacher's name. I can't remember
No,
what's
Greg is
Jacob.
Tyler James Williams.
right. What's the
My
white
what
character's teacher's name? The white guy and the white
Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob, and when he was talking to the teacher
Uh-huh.
from Southern Philly, and she was just trying to tell him like, you're basically trying to romanticize the struggle, and you're trying to sanitize the history of this, and if these kids are going to really benefit from your history lesson, they need to know not only the environment that they come from, but they need to have some respect for the people who have, you know what I mean, kind of like been in, you know, their same position in terms of being disenfranchised and representing and respecting the fact that these people are coming from different environments within the city. Like, because he was just so appalled that Tire Iron was in there. You know what I mean? And I just thought that that was it was very relevant and it was very poignant having her talk to him from her seat of experience. That,
Right. When
you
they
don't respect, you think you do, but you do not respect who these people are and what these children come from. And this is a for you are treating this more like a what like a moral this is affirming you morally somehow, thinking that you're sitting in here teaching
right.
them with. realistically, you should be encouraging them to buck the system. You should be encouraging them to break up out of systems that don't serve
And
them.
and I love that they had a white woman showing a white man this, right?
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
she was like, he was, and it was just so hilarious. He was looking at the camera, Bruce, to your point about just looking at the camera. I know you haven't seen this episode, but you'll love it. He looks at the camera, he's like, so excited that she's gonna have a police captain. And then we cut to her and she's like, so excited that I get to see it, that I get to bring a strike captain so the kids can really learn. And it was just like, this is how you do it. And it's just like you said, it's just like jovial, not jovial, but just very lighthearted with a bunch of levity, these perspectives on like serious inner city issues. And taking education is very, important. Taking education seriously is very important too. And so we see that through Janine. We see that through Barbara. Is it Barbara her name? The old head, the hashtag old head.
Yeah.
This last episode. I can't wait till y'all get to this last episode if you haven't seen it already. Mies, what do you love about this show? And what is your favorite character? Who's your favorite character right now?
I love how I think that and I'm so sorry, I think it's Sapio that was just speaking. She worded it, like you said, perfectly, that it handles these issues that exist very gently, but it's still funny. And it's very much, I've been watching The Office during quarantine. Mo, you know that's my way of reconnecting with being in an office. But I feel the same energy from
Exactly.
this show. Like I feel like I'm in the school and I'm seeing all these problems. And I do think it makes the problems, obviously we know what's going on with our schools and how our teachers are struggling, but seeing it this way is a little bit more humanizing. And that's not to disrespect any teacher or to minimize the gravity of those struggles, but I think we get it. So that's one of my favorite parts about the show. I think my favorite character has to be the principal. She's just so ridiculous and she's just living her best life. Like, she's ridiculous
She
and
is
hilarious, and I love her.
she is absolutely insane. And I was reading about it, and apparently she's like one of the most well liked characters on the show, like overall. So, my favorite hasn't been said quite yet, but she is super chaotic every time. And it's funny because all the characters are chaotic, but hers is like unaware chaos. She's like, no, we need to be ready for the rapture at any time. Like, it's a disaster. These are real imminent like stuff. And I'm like, girl, she's like, and I know they're going to call back to that in future episodes. Katie Lynn, talk to me. Tell me what's your favorite, maybe your favorite episode, what your favorite thing is about the show, and your favorite character.
I just watched 3 and 4 tonight, and I'm liking all of their characters more. It reminds me of a lot of jobs that I've had where it's really small, but
Oh, do we
feels
have a
really
teacher in the
big.
house? Do we have a
What?
teacher in the space? Are you a teacher?
No, I'm not. My sister-in-law is, though, so
Ah,
it's
okay, okay.
it seems kind of true to life from her experience. She teaches in Georgia in public schools, but
Oh, okay.
it just reminds me of every job where, like, is it Greg that comes in as the sub, where he's just like,
Yes.
who are these people? What is this system that they all work in this building? How do they function? Do I want to stay here? And I love having it from his point of view in
Oh
certain
my God.
scenes because he really clarifies, like,
Hello?
all of their weird
Mhm.
idiosyncrasies. Like, like, he really
Yes.
makes Janine crumble and forces them all to, like, show what they love about the job because they want him to stay.
I love that. You're right. You're right. They really do use him as a character to show what they love about the job, which is also a way of them gently speaking to the value of teachers in inner city schools. And this sub is like, I don't care about these kids. I just want to show them movies. Like, especially in the last episode, Caitlin, you just watched it, right? Like, he's like,
Yeah, he
maybe if I
can't
just
look at their
get past,
drawings and know what they are. Like, he doesn't speak kid. He
and you
thinks,
can,
like, yeah, I like kids, but he doesn't get how to connect with them.
he doesn't get how to connect with them and how important that is in education. And so it's so cool because I could already tell his character arc every episode. there's like a new thing that he learned, a new way that he learns to connect with the kids, right? And like first it was like reading their pictures. Now it's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna teach them how to read. Then we're just gonna sit here and watch movies. And I think that was like that one-on-one fourth wall kind of thing where he said that to us. It was like, oh baby, you think you're gonna go down this road of like just chilling with kids and not connecting with them? Because he was like, oh, I haven't even gotten past teaching them my name, but we'll get there, I guess. And every episode, Janine has something to say, and it's just very, very, very funny. Also, he's extremely sexy. So I don't know what happened between Everybody Hates Chris and Abbott Elementary, but something did.
He
And
was
Tyler
on The
James
Walking
Williams.
Dead.
I didn't watch too much of The Walking Dead. However, yes, thank you so much. What season was he in? Let me see if I can just take a peek at that season. Was he holding guns? Was he holding guns in this one?
I'm just remembering how he got right now. So,
Oh
but
no, okay, no, I don't want to have no
yeah,
further conversations about that. I'm sorry. Welcome to What We Watch. This is a non-horny space, but we just, we like attractive men. That's all. Exponentially thick woman. Hi, welcome. Talk to me
Hi.
about your favorite, things about the show, favorite aspects, and your favorite character.
Okay, sorry about the sounds in advance. I am making salmon. So, my favorite character is actually Mrs. Howard. And the reason why she is my favorite character is because she reminds me not only of my aunts, but some of the teachers that I've had in the past that have to do better and be better and instilled values in me outside of the education that they have given me. She's stern, she's firm, she still knows when to, let loose and, be funny and joke occasionally. And one thing I will give her is she knows how to do a read as well. I appreciate that.
She's the
Uh,
old head of the group. Yes, she will read your ass.
and you know what, Casey? I love her and she's my favorite, but I still relate the most to Janine, even in the aspect of appreciating the value in what older women have to give to the world, and not just thinking that somebody's a throwaway after 30. And really taking in the wisdom that Miss Howard has to give as well, and also fangirling. You can still tell through the actress that Quinta is fangirling over Cheryl Lee Ralph. I don't know if anybody can see it, but I would be too if I was her.
I see it. I'm so happy you said that. I do see it and I love it.
Cheryl Lee Ralph actually said that. She said that when they were working on the Black Lady sketch show together, she felt like Quinta was studying her, and she said she thought to herself, "Oh, this little girl thinks I'm something special." And so she said that when it was really, time for her to come work on the show, and when she was reached out to, she was like, "Oh no, like I really do kind of want to be there for her in that environment because she really
Yeah.
values me."
And you can tell that she appreciates the fact that she can learn from her, like as an actress directly. Um, and it really is good for the show to have an older character that isn't doesn't have some weird tragic storyline, or like hasn't been suffering their whole life or fighting all their life like Oprah did in college. Damn. But anyway,
And
I
even if
love
she has, she's like uses that as like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. Like
and it feels
that,
good to
I knew immediately when you said that she reminded you of your aunt. I was like, she reminds me of a Black Thea. Like,
yeah,
just like there's that special grounding in the tone in her voice.
it's
That's
firm,
like,
a
it's
firm
like
style.
you're not gonna argue with this woman, even if she's wrong. You're not about to argue.
And then the good thing is as well, which I noticed this in the show a lot, even if she is wrong, even if she like the uh third episode when I don't know why I just said like it's not only 4 episodes, but um like the third episode when she needed school supplies and didn't want to ask for them. I really appreciated the fact that you know, she she got that, but then at the same time she recognized the fact that okay, she was just trying to do something nice, but this is the reason why I didn't ask, and this is the reason why I'm explaining it to you. It's very
she
motherly. It's
always had she always has that little like affirmation in each episode. Have you noticed that? Like
yes,
mockumentaries and like sitcoms have to have like common themes when characters, since there's really like no kind of long-standing plot to adhere to. And hers is like, yeah, like I may not do it this way, and y'all may, you young kids may need the TikTok and all that. Real quick, let me pause and welcome everyone. If you didn't watch episode 3 is called Wish List. 20 minutes of them, all the teachers at Abbott Elementary creating a wish list. And some of them made TikToks. Of course, the principal, what's her name?
Ava,
What's the,
but she's a great actress.
She was like the best person to make TikToks. So Janine went to her to make a TikTok. It got like 20,000 views. It was a whole thing. And then Janine, in an attempt to help Barbara again, or Miss Howard, I think it is, she was like, let's make her one. And the principal did this really messed up video where she was like begging for stuff and making the kids look like the most struggling kids ever. And she got like double of all of the supplies that she needed. So it was a hilarious episode, and there was a lot of lessons. And we're gonna talk about Tariq, Janine's boyfriend, here in a minute, because we.
I'll wait my turn to speak, but I have a lot to say about that little rat.
So just so you know, that was wish list. And so what we're talking about here is kind of how Janine and Mrs. Howard work together as people that are on set together, but also in the show and what it means. So go ahead, and then we'll go to the next. Oh, were you done exponentially thinking?
Oh. You get a chance to shit talk Tariq. Absolutely.
Wait, not
No.
yet, not yet. Hold on. I got some hands up. Let me get Angela. Tell me about why you love this show, because that's why we're all here, and who your favorite character is.
All right,
Before we
so
go in on Tariq.
I'm gonna preface this by saying, so I went to my high school is 98% African American, and we had like 3 white teachers in my high school, and one of them was this Italian guy from like the Bronx, who so
Yes.
my high school was built when schools were forced to desegregate in Florida, so he was at the high school the first year, like so 1971, and I graduated 2012, so he was teaching there since that time. With that being said, Melissa reminds me so much of him, because like we'd be like, Mr. Angelo, how you got this new MacBook? And he'd be like, oh, my cousin got it for me. Or like, Mr. Angelo, like, how you get this? And he'd be like, I know a guy. It's like, Mr. Angelo, you don't know all these people. Like,
my girl is connected, well connected. Go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, but she's my favorite character just because she reminds me so much of that teacher. And I had him for 3 years in high school, and she just reminds me so much of him. And like I was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I was in AmeriCorps, and my assignment was to work at a Title I high school. And this kind of triggers me because like I remember like having to do wish lists for teachers, and like one teacher being like, I've been here for 40 years and I've never gotten shit, so I'm not submitting you a wish list. And I'm like, all right,
Is this a
okay.
thing for real? Like, I promise y'all, I'm learning so much, right? Like, not to cut you off, but I'm learning so much. So, like, wish lists are like literally a thing, right? This is a thing.
Yeah, so there's like this thing. It's called Donors Choose. It's like GoFundMe but for teachers. And if
Oh,
like
okay.
you literally like submit, like teachers are just like, hey, my class needs pencils and da da da. And usually if like no one gives the teacher what they want, Chevron, like the gas company, they'll like select a couple of teachers to like fulfill their wish list. But the wish list is very, very real.
Yo, that's wild. And that's what I love about this show. Like, um, so finally someone said my favorite character. My favorite character is Melissa. As an Italian woman myself, I feel very seen. The plug is real. She is so funny. She is like the perfect balance of like, I love teaching, but also we finna work this stuff out. Like we gonna find a way. Like, in the very first episode, if y'all remember, they all needed new rugs. And she was like, I got a guy, don't even worry about it. I was just like, that's my girl. Like, and then it ended up to where they ended up getting all their new rugs. And Janine, you could see Janine was just like, I think I love the pilot because it showed how deeply passionate Janine is about teaching. And it showed how Barbara is too, but like in a completely different way. And how Melissa's like, yeah. Like we could be passionate about this, but y'all gonna teach the kids the real. And that's what we got to see in this last episode called New Tech. Spoiler alert, but it's 20 minutes, guys, go watch the show. But we get this new tech in this public school, and I love how they really ended with like these are the what do I say, the disconnects or the faults that tech has when you try to just introduce it. Here are the things that technology misses: it's cultural differences, it's connections with these inner cities children. And it's also shows, it was also a quick little jab at like how people are using technology to be racist and to be classist, and how it's actually like very problematic. So, but again, they did it in this gentle, loving way. I'm going to keep using that word, sapia, because I love that. And it was very, very funny. So, Bruce, I see your, or wait, hold on. I want to welcome Mystical Blue. Hi, welcome. We are talking
Hello.
about Abbott Elementary, why we love the show, and our favorite character right now. So tell me why.
So I'm a teacher.
Oh my God.
I've been a teacher
If
for years.
you are from Philly or you're a teacher, please come up and talk because I want to hear from you specifically. I feel like this is you, you're seen. And again, this is a Philadelphia show, and Warner Whalian that was on that was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air also is on this show as well, which is also set in Philadelphia. Am I tripping? Yeah, in West Philadelphia. So please go ahead and speak.
So yeah, I grew up in Chicago. I teach currently in DC at a charter school, and this show definitely, they've done their research. They've talked to teachers. They've definitely done their research. They've definitely talked to teachers. We do have the wish list. I'm that teacher, like, I don't want to ask for nothing. I'll just go ahead and get it myself. But teachers have Amazon wish lists. We have supply orders. We end up, having issues with supplies and getting PPEs now that we're in a pandemic. It's just insane. So I literally love all the teachers, including the sub. He definitely provides an interesting perspective because he's like, I'm just here to get a check. And now he's having to realize he's going to be here a bit longer. So now maybe he does need to start acting more like a teacher. And I do like when he tried to decorate his classroom.
Oh my God,
And
I love that.
most guys don't really do a good job of decorating. It's always dark or they just throw anything up. And the women tend to put a bit more thought into decorating their class. So I did like that. Yeah, this show is definitely, they've talked to teachers, and I absolutely love it.
Can I just say I am so happy you joined the space and said that, because I was literally thinking about this after episode 3. I was like, I know that Quinta, and thank you guys for telling me how to properly pronounce it. I know that Quinta has done her due diligence, and I know, but I'm just curious to what extent. And so to hear from an inner city teacher and you watching this and feeling affirmed, like, yeah, okay, they did their research. Like, this is exactly how it is. And so that's just really comforting for me, and just even more claps, more shout outs, more praise for this show, because I was just before, I don't know if you heard me asking before I jumped in, but like the wish list thing, I was, maybe it's just because of where I grew up, and I don't mean to sound, this is just my, it's where I grew up. I didn't have really control over it. And I don't know anything about wish lists. And so I was like, oh, this is a really cool way to like do it. But apparently this is like very much a real thing. And I know there's like drives and stuff, but this wish list, could you expound upon like what the wish list was and what it is and like why that was so great?
Wish list is just, we need supplies because teachers will send out things at class. And as a parent too, I've seen some of these supply lists and I sit here like, why? 30 glue sticks per child, but then you start getting and teaching them like they eat glue sticks, they lose glue sticks, everything. But yeah, but the whole thing is the list is we need supplies. We don't get a lot of stuff. Don't get it. So
like for my kid, I've sent him to public school and I've sent him to private school when he was in like preschool and kindergarten, and you get an insane list, and it's because the teachers need those Clorox wipes and glue sticks and scissors, and you're providing that if you can, but there's been years where I haven't been able to, and I know that the teachers are figuring it out just like they show on the show. Like they have to, because they're there all day seeing the kids and taking care of them. Like, but it's like GoFundMe, it's
Right.
crowdsourcing to educate our children. It's
And I
insane.
love that. Go ahead. I'm not entirely disconnected from it because I see a lot of wish lists that are shared now online. So I've donated to a ton of those. A friend of mine is a teacher in Kansas, Oklahoma, one of those. And one time I was just like, let me just buy your entire wish list because I didn't really kind of understand the extent. So it's not for my lack of knowledge and complete disconnect and like the teachers need supplies, but I was just wondering how the show presented it and if that was realistic and if that was like if they did a good job of showing the way that the conversations are had and like the struggles that they have through requesting these things. So I was really excited and that they just incorporated that, hey, TikTok is a way to do it, which was kind of some commentary on like online presence and social media can help, you know, some of these teachers get their stuff too. But what are the obstacles there and what are the challenges that come up if that happens too? So I love that. I fucking loved it. Sapio.
I just was thinking about somebody had said, well, you guys were just talking about how the sub's character, how he was kind of like having an issue connecting with the class. And I think that from one perspective, like from his, you know, overarching perspective, he is having an issue kind of figuring out what that looks like and what that means for him. But I would actually disagree that he's, you know, having an issue connecting because that's the whole conversation about every picture in the class being of him. And I think that are being drawn by the students and then given to him. And I think that that's a bigger conversation about how needed Black men are in the classroom and how literally just their presence is galvanizing for students, especially in the inner city. You know what I mean? Because that's such
I love that.
it's such a thing and such still, you know, a source of lack and just a source of loss of representation, whether it be in their own personal homes or in their lives, you know. But again, especially in a place where they are spending 8 hours, you know what I mean, of their day, every day, 5 days a week, to have them, you know, be around him and to see them, you know, and interact with them, that is really, in a way, while it's unfair, because I think that you do kind of go into like the conversation, well, these, you know, the lady teachers feel like they got to do so much more. It's like there's so much more involved, but it's like he does have a desire to get there, you know what I mean? But even still, he's very positively impacting them just by being in the room, you know. And then I also like the idea, just kind of also going back to, even though you know, Melissa and Jacob were having that conversation, I don't feel like they were condemning Jacob for his I would say misappropriation of motivation, right? Because it's, again, it's not that he's not motivated. He's still just in an environment that's kind of foreign. And clearly he's like, this is something that he's done. You know,
Yeah.
like when she was talking about, like, I already asked you not to talk to me about your time in Africa because it gets weird. Like, I feel that because I'm having conversations like that. Like, okay, like I appreciate it, but I really don't want to go there with you because you
And
know
that
what I
was
mean?
in the pilot. When
Right.
you speaking of Jacob, so by the beginning of episode 3, Jacob was my favorite character because they were perfectly presenting the white man that wants to be down, hashtag in, hashtag what's like in the last episode he was like, what's up, bro Sif, bro Greg,
Bro Taylor,
what's going
what
on?
is
Right. And so let's just be real. You can do that improperly. You can miss the mark when you're writing a character like that. It's very easy to do that. And they got it right. And so when Janine is like, yeah, no, you're great. No, yeah, you're great. Oh, no, of course we can work together. No, I'm not about to listen to your time in Africa again. Like, we get it. And then, like, when he's around Gregory and Gregory is like, no, I'm good, bro. No, we're good. I just want some creamer. Like, you can stop being all in my face. And he was my favorite character up until like half of this episode, half of this season so far. And now I'm like fully team Melissa because, again, she's like, look, we finna get it how we live. She's not quite Janine. She's not quite Barbara. And I also love that this show has attempted to have the gender parity in school teachers. And so we have the sub Gregory Eddy who doesn't really care, but clearly he does. And then we have Jacob, who's like you know, what did they say in this last episode? He's like, oh, 6th to 8th grade teachers. And the principal was like, 6th to 8th grade teachers are in this meeting. And he was like, I'm here for the snacks.
And the camaraderie. Yes, they said I'm here for the camaraderie.
I'm here for the camaraderie and the snacks, which I love the character. And we've talked about this on like other TV shows. I love the character that I was always looking for, like community and like alliances and like wanting to fit in. That character is always hilarious to me. And so just to put him in that position was really, really, really cool. Welcome, Kat. How are you? Tell me why you like the show and who your favorite character is.
Actually, well, hi, and I think Dao was before me, so I don't mind waiting if she wants to go first.
Oh no, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Dow's
Oh, okay.
has already
Okay.
spoken to. She's already answered the question. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, hi everybody, and I love that you're doing this space because I am usually not the type of person who like watches TV like with everybody else because I'm spoiled. I had a DVR. I hate commercials. So, but when I watched the 3 episodes last week, as soon as they got on Hulu, I was dying, and I'm like, I have to watch this on TV with everybody else. Like, screw it, I'll
Yes.
deal with the commercials. Like,
Yes.
I was watching it and crying, and I absolutely agree. Jacob is hilarious. I'm not gonna say he's my favorite. I actually really, really love Quinta because I kind of relate to her because, like, I'm the type of person where I want
I
to
love
help
that.
so bad. I feel like I end up messing stuff up, and then I sit back and I'm kind of like, wait, like, should I help anymore or should I just sit over here and shut up? And so, like, I really
Isn't
love
she the
that
most isn't she the most like lovable
she's just
character?
great. Like, she is. Like,
Her
she's so
character
great.
was
And you
really
can,
highlighted. What you're saying is really highlighted in episode 2, the light bulb episode,
with the light
where you
bulb,
just said like, "Should
exactly.
I help? I'm trying to help,"
Yeah,
and that just made
right.
everything worse.
And then she just like knocks out the power to everything. And then the janitor, oh my God, I love him
Oh
because
my
he's
god, how
like,
could we
you mess with the
leave out the
fuse set.
janitor? Yeah.
Like he's just so random. And like the time, I think it was in the pilot when he was at the chalkboard and he was just like telling all the kids like, this is why, this and that. Like, I can't remember exactly what he was talking about because it's been a while, but it's just like he's the doomsday conspiracy theorist. Like, he's just all over the place, and he's absolutely batshit, but you love him because you just love the way he talks.
Yeah, he was telling the
But
kids Illuminati rules the world.
that
Yeah,
part,
wait,
yes,
yeah,
like,
I
oh
like
my
have
God.
tears in my eyes, y'all.
And
When the
exactly,
janitor when
oh
the
my God,
janitor was fixing in the light bulb episode that we're talking about. Sorry to cut you off, but we have to tell the
no, you're
room.
good.
Like the part where his, his electrical
So basically,
expertise is boys to men.
basically he is
His
literally like the wizard of the lighting system in the school. Like, the school is absolutely underfunded, and like he has this like jerry-rigged type system where like the fuse box, everything in the fuse box is named after Boys to Men songs,
Yeah,
and everything is like wired super crazy. So Quinta is like, why won't anybody change this light bulb? Like, all you have to do is change the light
change
bulb.
the light
the
bulb, or
kids
maybe like
the
fix
kids
a
are
breaker.
scared to be in the hallway. They don't want to go to class because it's dark and they think something's going to jump out
They,
of the corners
they
and
said
get
it was a
them.
haunted house.
Just change the freaking light bulb. So she's short, she has like a fear of heights. She gets on the ladder and she tries
Right.
to change out this fluorescent light bulb, and when she touches it, the whole school just goes pitch black. And so everybody has to be taken out of the school. The power goes out, so there's no like AC or anything. So they end up having to like sit outside all day. And they're like, he
Right.
keeps saying like there's inner city Philly. So the kids are uncomfortable, but then they're trying to like make the most of it and everything like that.
And
But
and what I and let me interject here, Sapio,
no,
I'm gonna
go
take your
ahead.
word again. This was a perfectly gentle criticism of what happens in publicly underfunded public schools and
Right.
what happens to the staff. And the staff wear multiple hats, which is a common theme as well. So you have the janitor who's also the electrician. You have a teacher who's
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, like, can I not help with the electricity a little bit? Let me just fix this little wire in this bulb. And again, that is a real issue. And to like, I'm part of me really wants to say like genius, and maybe it's too soon to say that, but it's really an incredible feat for Quinta to give us this show where it's like really attacking real issues in inner city public schools and then gently and lovingly providing humor around it where you don't feel like it's being misconstrued or misrepresented, or you know what I mean, because you know how when you make
Right.
something, when you make light of something, it can become a problem. It's like, whoa, don't make light of this. And I feel like Quinta gets it, and she does it really delicately, and it's
Right.
really fucking cool.
It's very
Um,
layered. There's a lot of nuance. It's very layered. There's a lot of nuance,
yes,
and you're absolutely right. Like it's like a way to address the issues without actually pointing a finger and saying like this is their problem,
yes,
like they did this and let's blame them. It's more like no, this is actually a community, and there are people who are responsible for certain things. And like you said, like one person can wear many different hats, but
right.
when they try to work together, it's almost like Quinta is like extremely naive, and they're trying to like lay out the roadmap for her, and she's like, no, I hear you what you're saying, but it's actually a lot more simple than this. And then because she thinks it's so simple, and they're like, no girl, like we've been here, and
Right.
like if you just listen to us. But it's so innocent, and it's so like it comes from a good place. It's not like, oh,
She's
I
a
think I know better than you, or I know more than you, because she
right,
absolutely looks up to everybody. But at the same time, she's like, come on guys, like it's just a light bulb. And
right.
so I really love that about her. And then Jacob, like you were saying with Jacob, the one thing I really really want to point out, the part that I love the most about Jacob is like he totally gives me male Katie Heron vibes. And for people who don't know who Katie Heron is the main character from Mean Girls. And her whole thing when she's coming to this school is she's like, oh my God, I've spent my whole life growing up in Africa. Like, I'm going to come to school, and the first people I'm going to talk to are the Black kids because I've been in Africa my whole life. So I'm obviously going to be able to relate to them.
Yes.
And so when she's in the
Yes.
cafeteria, the first thing she does is she walks up to the table of Black kids, and it's like the unfriendly Black hotties or whatever.
Yep. Yep.
But she walks up to the table and she goes, Jumbo, which is like a greeting in Swahili. And
Yes.
the kids look at her and they're
Yes.
like, girl, what? And
I'm
she's so
sorry. I didn't
confused.
cut you off,
She's
but
like,
he said Jumbo and assumed that they would also be Swahili as a Nigerian. Ooh. Exactly right. It's
Yo,
exactly.
right. It's
and
so
those
tone deaf. It's
that's the
so
way you do it. That's the way you present these white
Yes.
characters without making us like, look at it and kind of be like, what attempt was this? Like,
Right.
I'm just so glad we're celebrating this Black woman writing this, by definition, like a mockumentary, but like comedy series. I'm just so freaking happy because, like, that's how you write that white character. Because the thing is, he's not changing. We're 4 episodes in, and he's still walking up to the cafeteria saying, Jumbo. Like, he's still doing that. Like, he's walking into the break area trying to be buddy buddy with Gregory. And Gregory's like walking around, and I love it. I love it. We always talk about I think in Succession, the character that we don't see, and it's the camera. And that's why it's called a mockumentary, because the way it's filmed is like a documentary. So you're kind of like, there's no steady cameras, there's not one cam. Um, it's just very like flowing through all of the characters, like, this is real, this is what we're going through. And so I love the way the camera's just following Gregory as he's like trying to get away from Jacob, like, hey brosif, what's going on? So go ahead, exponentially. Thank you so much, Kat. I love that parallel. I love when we have good references in this space for what we watch. So thank you so much for that. That is exactly who Jacob is. He is the male Kate Heron. Go ahead, exponentially thick. You gonna keep making call you this in my spaces, aren't you?
yeah. Quick thing. We're are we gonna talk about Tariq now? Because I'm really waiting for that.
Hold on. Okay, so I have 3 people with their hands up. Are y'all want to talk about Tariq, or y'all got additional things to say about what we've been talking about?
I just wanted to add on to the Jacob conversation real quick.
And Mies, what you wanted to add on to? Because we're gonna talk about
And I
Tariq.
got to go back to the beginning.
I will wait my
Mies, what
turn.
were you gonna talk about? Okay, baby.
I just want to again shout out Quinta, because I feel like this was not the direction I would have expected for her to take in a her own, starring vehicle sitcom. But it's so good. It's different, but it's still very her. And so I love like The Office, kind of like The Office, looking at the camera, like that thing that we identify with the type of comedy that we're used to her doing. But then we also have those feel good moments, and we also have the Italian teacher who I also Actually, I do love her too. Like the first, I think the first episode, I was like, "This is my bitch. This is the one I'm. This is the one I'm a like."
Yes, girl.
So, but I just wanted to shout that out really, really quickly. But everything else y'all are saying is great too.
Facts. Okay, Bruce, I know you came out and came back in, baby. Go ahead. And then
Listen, I'm
Sapia.
sorry about that. My 3-year-old daughter called me while Daddy was in the middle of doing something, but I had to take care of her. Okay, so I got so excited about talking about the fact that this show is set in Philadelphia that I forgot to say who my favorite teacher is or character, and it's definitely the Italian teacher. And I want to tell you guys why.
Gang, 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 gang.
Because what happens is when you have Italians that they come from New York and they're in South Philly and South Jersey, it's very specific. Okay, it's and she encompasses all of that. I had to look it up. She's from Maryland. She's from Springfield, Maryland. So this woman is acting. Okay, but like I see them every time I go into like this little hoagie shop that's across the street from my job or whatever. Like it's like ran with it's her family in there. You would think that there's like 5 of them back there. And it's like this is just home. Like she's doing a bang up job on that. And everybody knows somebody. They all have a guy. Everybody has a guy for anything. Um Also I wanted to speak about the like we were talking about Gregory's art that you can see happening and like how he's come in, he's like, yeah, I really studied to be a principal, but I'm just gonna do the substitute teacher thing just to see what happens, and we're watching him learn. Like, well, it's the same thing that they did with The Office, where they have like an outside character comes in and they don't really know the demographic, or not the demographic, but like they don't really know the the
Politics.
power, right, of the office. And so they're just like an outside person. I think like when they introduced Idris Elba to the office, he kind of played that role too. But it's also like the same thing that they did with Michael in the office, where he learned something every episode, like, and you can see them slowly turning and changing. So yeah, those are my things, and I'm gonna have to bounce out soon again for dinner. But yeah, thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much. I guess I was muted, but I was like, yes, yes, you get it, you get it. Sapia, thank you, and bye to your 3-year-old. Sapia, talk to me.
So I just wanted to like just expound just really quickly on the way that they kind of have also kept it true to life, but turned a lot of like tropes on their head in terms of what TV would try to portray. Because I also think it's interesting that Melissa is like, she's the hardest one. You know what I mean? She's the hardest one in personality. She appears to come from the hardest part of town, or has like, you know what I mean, the quote unquote hardest demographic, which I think is really refreshing in a cast of Black characters, that the Black people aren't necessarily the most aggressive or the most visceral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Melissa. And so I really like that. And to that point, which I think this really crystallizes and ties in what you guys are talking about with the dynamic of like Jacob and him feeling comfortable in these environments where, again, I see it as like he's just trying to really morally validate himself, right? But when they're in the teacher's lounge, I think it's in this last episode, Tech Teacher. Definitely in the episode before. It's in one of them. But when he's over there and he's, and Tyler's like, I'm just looking for some creamer, man.
It's the last episode.
And Melissa comes up to him, and that's when they start talking about the presentation, and she was like, great, whatever. But when she leaves, he tries to start talking shit about her and telling Tyler like, that's just such a shady lady. It's like, he's afraid of her. And even in their interaction, she refers to him as people like you, which again, you don't typically see white people speak to one another like that. You know what I mean? You don't typically see white people be afraid of other white people that don't represent their demographic, and try to like, put that I don't know what the word is that I'm trying to use, but they like try to put that on them. They're projecting their discomfort with them onto them. That's very unique for me to see in terms of like a
love
dynamic.
the way you said that. Yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
And then when he turned around and he was like trying to like, oh, it's me and you, to the Jumbo point. It's me and you, you should just let me be the creamer to your coffee. And when he said that, Tyler was already gone, like, bro, nobody got time for this bullshit.
Like, you're not
I'm
gonna have community here, bro.
yeah, like this is not, and that's not the way that you go about it. So I think again, to what you guys are saying is very true, and I love the way that they're dealing with that. Still in a way that is not again condemning of Jacob, right? Because it's very easy to like
Exactly.
write him off and be like, oh, he's just another, you know what I mean, yuppie, or he's just another, quote unquote white boy, like they call him at the corner store, that's just trying to come in here, you know what I mean, to make himself feel better
Because
with
Janine
these
is very
disenfranchised
welcoming
kids.
of him.
Yeah, right. It's
Janine is
like,
very
no,
welcoming, and
like
the mm-hmm.
he has a valid perspective, and I think even in his naivete and even in his outsiderness, he has something of value to offer these kids, right? He just has to get to the point that he's not framing it as some kind of favor that he's doing or some type of like, again, like, upper moral work, white man's burden type thing, because whether or not he knows that's what he's doing, that's what he's doing, you know what I mean? He's kind of like moving with that energy, you feel what I'm saying? So
I
I
feel
think
like
that's just very interesting.
What were you saying?
he's always waiting for someone to ask him his thoughts on race. Like he's always ready
Yes.
to talk about it, and everyone is like, if you would just stop, we would be cool. But like you keep making it this.
Oh
That
my
is
God, and the fax
literally
machine.
exactly it. That is exactly
And
it.
the
He's
fax
always
machine.
like, let me show y'all, because I know y'all are looking at me as just like a white boy. Let me show y'all that I'm not just a white boy. And let me
He
talk
can't
to
wait
y'all.
to jump in.
He
He
can't
just
wait, which is literally like what we're saying. Stop doing that, because what you don't understand is we're not projecting that much onto you like white people do onto us. We're not doing that to you. We don't care, bro. Like, just be a fucking normal person. And I love the way Janine is like, I think you were saying it very well, Sippy. Like, Janine is very like gentle with him about it. She's like, yeah, okay, let's go to lunch. Let's do this. And if he steps out of line, she's like, okay, no, we don't need to go there. Anyways, but yeah, let's go to lunch. Like, it's very much those kind of interactions that Janine's very gentle. Gregory is like very much, I don't care, bro. Like, I don't. He doesn't even say bro. Like, I'm saying bro. Gregory would never call Jacob bro. He'd just be like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm just here to get some creamer.
Yeah, he didn't want to give him the wrong idea.
I'm also
Yeah,
watching. I'm watching real time, and I'm watching the faces that he makes when he looks into the camera. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do here? Like, it's very. It's
you
he's
talking about
there
Greg,
so
right?
he don't get fined. Like, he doesn't care about any of it.
And when I think it was episode 1 or 2 when they were first like introducing Greg, he was just like, well, I was supposed to be a principal, but I guess I had to. I don't know what happened, and they were like, well, I caught him cheating with what was it that the principal had
They
on him?
she caught somebody. She caught. Well, I don't think it
She
was him.
caught
She caught like a
the
superintendent.
superintendent.
The
Yeah.
superintendent cheating, and so she had something on him. That's right. And I was like, well, that's
Yeah.
how she's gonna maintain this job that she's clearly not good at. Which I forget who was saying it earlier. I think it was either Katie Lynn or Mystical Blue, or somebody was talking about how like this reminds me of my job, and like I don't have to be a teacher to understand like those dynamics when you're clearly better equipped to like manage something that you see someone else doing, but like they just continue to maintain that job. And so now we're looking at Greg, who's like, I'm way better than a sub. First of all, I need to be an actual teacher. And if I'm not an actual teacher, I don't even want to be an actual teacher. I want to be the freaking superintendent or the principal here. And I just love that we're following him because, again, I think his character arc is one of the most obvious ones. Like, okay, he's going to become like super happy as a teacher eventually. And let's get into it because this is my favorite. I have officially, nothing exists without romance. When they introduced Janine having a boyfriend, the way they just sprung that onto us, I was like, oh no, of course she has a boyfriend. And of course he took her lunch and my girl was lightheaded at lunch. And of course Gregory is so fine and clearly not the best, but like they work together. And so this is like the one time I'm gonna root for like coworker love and romance. I guess in the office as well, maybe in a way. But like let's talk about because Janine leads to leave Tariq. Okay, like are we all aligned? Leave Tariq, girl, and let's get into your coworker, which I would never say that outside of this show. Like, date your coworker right now. So go ahead,
You're
exponentially
not gonna
thick.
root for me. You're not gonna root for me and my boss crush.
No, no, I'm not. We're not gonna even talk about that right now. Oh my god. Go ahead, exponentially thick. Go ahead and get your bars off about Tariq because
Let me take a
not
sip of
you
water.
clearing your throat. they could have, before you start, they let us sit with this. So just so you know, this is not far off. This is a storyline that's going to continue, okay? As soon as they introduce Tariq, this is a thing. We're going to continue to get the awkward coworker relationship. Janine is silly and in love and oblivious to Tyler clearly. And let me tell you how even further they drove it home with the very fine, and I believe her name is Nate Jones, which was little Joel's or Cameron's, I forget his name, teacher who was very beautiful that walked into the room. And let me tell you, Mr. Gregory Eddie was like, anyways, you need to figure out the stuff with your son. And she's clearly a beautiful woman. He clearly could have some interest in her, but he loves him some Janine that can't even dress. And so I'm really rooting for this. I'm really like, guys, I'm really rooting for this couple. Every episode I watch, I'm like, Janine, go out with this man. Go out with him. Please go out with him. So go ahead, Exponentially Thick. Take it away.
Oh no, before I start roasting Tariq, I would like to add on to that. You can tell that Gregory is a good guy. I'll be shocked if they, turn him down on a bad road, because one of the first things that stood out to me is the fact that he was uncomfortable by the fact that Joel's mom, I think his name was Joel's mom, just literally didn't drop her son off to school on time just for the fuck of it. Even though, yes,
They handled that gently too. They did.
They did. And I mean, yes, it is true. And mind you, this is coming from a kid whose mom had to work overnight. So she couldn't give me a ride to school. So if I missed the bus, I was flogged and fucked. Excuse my language. But it's disappointing, but it's also it's I don't want to say good, but it does make me feel good to know that it's not only normal to see stuff like that as kind of weird and off, but that he sees stuff like that as weird and off, because we know in real life these guys don't care.
Exactly.
That is
Exactly.
a red
I
flag.
literally loved seeing that. Okay, we're
That
aligned. I love that.
just wanted that to be said. Now on to Dusty Bastard. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That was a slip of tongue. Tariq. So Tariq is played by Zach Fox, who I've met in real life several times. Zach Fox is hilarious. He nails his character very well. He actually tends to hate guys like this himself. um, but he has also been in that situation. So he knows how to play a dusty, mooching, ungrateful, inconsiderate, dirty idiot. So
Get your
even
feelings
right,
out, girl.
even right down to the fact that you're introduced to Tariq with him pulling up. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing her name, even though I've been with her since the You Got Money days. I'm sorry. How do I pronounce it again?
Quinta.
It's
Quinta.
Quinta.
Okay.
It's Quinta Brunson. Yes, Quinta.
Quinta pulls up, aka Janine, pulls up with him. He's sitting in the car. She's polished, even though she do be dressing a little homely.
Not a little, very much so. And I love that Barbara finally said something in that one episode.
And she said,
She
"Girl,
was
what
like,
are you
"What do you
wearing?
have on? What are you wearing? What do you have on?"
What is?"
And when that camera cut to that, I said, "Yup, I've been asking the same thing. I have. What
And
is Janine wearing?"
so between Barbara getting her nails done every 2 weeks, coming in with a 27-piece, freshly pressed, you can't even tell it's a quick weave. It's just it's weird. It ages her, but I know that she's gonna evolve, and that's what it leaves room for, which is so great about this show. But even her pulling up with Tariq in the car and her looking, somewhat polished, and him looking scruffy in a long sleeve t-shirt, looking like her son that she about to drop off at early morning daycare. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. I just knew he wasn't going to be worth a damn. And I'm glad that they did that, because even stuff like costume and the cinematography allows us to understand these characters better. Janine is discussing, her plans with him and his plans for the show. And one thing that stood out to me was the fact that she said, "Oh, I'd love to come," and he said, "Oh, well, because of COVID, they have a 15 people limit, and if you come, it'll be 16, and if you come, you'll probably see my side piece and light the whole place on fire. So no." And I just know he's cheating. I just know he is. And then we go from that to him taking a gnarly bite out of her sandwich, and I think that's what infuriated me even more.
as an exponentially thicker woman, you don't eat my food, okay? That is a one-way ticket to meet your maker.
We're losing you a bit, babe, or is that just me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I
But
hear.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's how you
Is
got.
everyone else hearing her okay? It might just be me.
Yeah, I hear
Okay,
her
I can
fine.
hear.
I hear her fine.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay. But don't eat my fucking food. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And not, especially not before a long day at work at a job where I'm already underappreciated. And the type of mentality that Janine has is she wants to save the world, and you need a good full stomach to do that. And
Yo.
and um, Miss Brunson, in real life, she's a very small petite girl. Janine is a petite girl. She needs to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, she needs to eat. And then even stuff like she's calling him and she says, hey, we need to discuss this now. I think it was their budget for like their monthly expenses.
The rent, girl. He didn't even want to pay the rent.
Stuff like that just makes me so, like, he's so dusty. And you, honestly, outside of the TV show, you can tell that a man is going to, just the women in here, the men in here who have daughters, you can tell that a man is going to drag a woman down, even just based on the things that he allows to happen in his own life and in his environment and within the relationship. He will
Okay.
hold her back in her career, in her personal life, all that.
And let me interject here for the room. I know y'all have seen this show, and if you haven't, that's fine. I'm gonna tell you exactly who Tariq is, what we know about Tariq. Okay, be very clear. Exponentially, I think you did a perfect job. I just want to also be very clear about, like, because you brought up the cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
This man is a rapper. Okay, he has been rapping for 10 plus years, and
Mm-hmm.
Janine is very supportive of his rap career. Okay, so I want y'all to know that Janine's boyfriend is a rapper of 10 years.
SoundCloud
That
rapper.
is, huh?
SoundCloud rapper. Still ain't rapped his way into a ring on her finger, ain't rapped his
Hey,
way into a house and paid rent and been
Drag
alone.
him.
has
Let,
not been able to pay rent, and he's been doing this for nearly. I really do think she said, like, he's been rapping for a
since
decade.
high school,
And
actually.
so
So
my
more than 10
my
years.
favorite part of Tariq is the how the show shows opposite of Gregory, Doctor Teacher Gregory Eddy. It's my favorite. It was my favorite. It's one of my favorite scenes in the show when Janine looks at the camera for a second after Gregory fixed something that needed to be addressed immediately. And when she was going the whole day, lightheaded as hell because she didn't get to have lunch, okay? Because he was eating her stuff and didn't care to see if, like, what she would do if, lunch came about and you ate her whole sandwich and you're about to go home and not take care of the bills that she asked you to take care of, that you've put up, put back for, like, I don't know, what would she say, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, and they're
3 weeks.
behind on rent. And so we see her look at the camera when she was like, "Oh, okay, you don't have to do that right now." And Greg was like, "No, I can fix it right now."
And you know what's
And
crazy? She
y'all,
was
that
shocked
moment,
she was even being asked out. Oh my God, the shock on her face that she was even being asked out. When is the last time Tariq took her on a date, let alone pay the rent?
you know what? The girls that dress modest have a lot to see in Janine, because Tyler James Williams is very fine and he wants to go out with Janine, okay? He likes Janine. If you wear big flowy skirts and big flowy blouses, you can be that girl. This is representation for the girls, okay? Because he wants to take Janine out. And Janine is with this raggedy, and now I'm gonna be quiet because now I'm gonna get triggered. She is with this raggedy man and this other lovely man, which he has his own, quirks and faults as well, but not to the extent of being a rapper for 10 years. No offense, because I'm a rapper myself, but a rapper for 10 years that won't get a freaking job and help out with the goddamn bills, okay? Like,
Rule number one to be a boss, bitch. You always get a job to support your passion.
period. Thank you. So I see some hands up. Actually, I'm gonna get back to you because I know you got a lot to say, but I feel like I have some hands up. I feel like people are ready to get their Tariq bars off.
Can
And
I point
again,
out, like, one more thing that he said? Just one line.
go ahead.
She brought up the fact that
he needs to make a budget. Not you need to pack your stuff and get out now. Not you need to have that money now, or else I'm gonna have one of my Italian homegirls pull up at your door. She was still giving him next.
And he was already late. Okay, Mies, I saw your hand up. I saw your hand up go up right when Exponentially Thick said something. So go ahead.
I don't
Me.
even remember because I thought that you were about to transition to talking about Tariq, and it just kind of left out of my mind. So don't even worry about it.
Okay, well, we still talk about Tariq, but if you remember, put your hand back up. Sapio, I saw your hand go up too, girl.
Yeah, actually, Harley had her hand up before mine. And I don't know because she spoke, it went down, but I don't know if she want to speak first.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Kat.
Oh, thanks, Tapio. Yeah. So this F boy Tariq, I'm not with the crap because, like Exponentially Thick said, all she said was, "Let's make a budget," and Homeboy started crapping in his underwear. I do actually I agree. I think he is already cheating on her. If he's not already cheating, he's planning to. I also want to sorry, my nose was itching. I also want to talk about the fact that as soon as Gregory helped her out, Homegirl was automatically on Wet Wet. But I can't wait for her to divulge into that because I'm not usually a proponent for crapping where you work, but
However,
Homegirl needs to just go ahead and take the toilet home. She needs a win. She needs something good. She needs something to boost her morale. Maybe she won't dress so homely or whatever anymore. You know,
no offense to the
no
girls.
offense to the home. No offense to the girls. No offense to the
I'm
girls.
gonna have to step in for the homely girls. I think that's what I was gonna. I think that's what I was about to say. But please continue. I'm gonna step in for the homely girls
No,
too.
go ahead. Let's have a talk. Let's have a talk.
So I do want to say that because of the fact that Quinta is such, or excuse me, Janine, Janine is such a giver, and I think that she truly likes to give, and I think that other things kind of get put by the wayside. But throughout this, and even with y'all's, us spanning for her and Tariq to get together, what's triggering us is the thing what we're seeing that's making us feel that way is the fact that she's caring for all these people, but she's not caring for herself, as evidenced by the homely attire, the homely attire, and also, her constantly trying to fix things and help Tariq, whatever. So I just think a quick shout out to the homely girls. It's not that they are homely because they're homely. It's homely because they're too busy helping somebody else, for better or worse. Big for better or worse vibes.
Absolutely. And I say that as a recovered, somewhat homely girl.
Hey,
Can
You
I
we
know,
add
out
to
here.
the
We out
homeliness?
here.
Can I
yeah,
add to the homeliness and just I want to celebrate the girls in a way too because remember she's at work, y'all. And so I
right.
have I've run into a lot of issues with how I dress as work, being professional, being that my body is the way that it is, banging with some good titties, anyways. No, that's not what we're talking about. But what I'm saying though is that like sometimes you do like in your professional attempt, and again, like I don't be around kids at my job. So like she's around kids. So I can understand why she's trying to go for the hashtag or quote unquote homie look. She's at her place of work and her place of work involves a bunch of 5-year-olds. And so both sides. I'm gonna use my neutral host card again and just say that like she definitely has some style issues. Me being a style girl, recently over like I'm on day 7 of being a style girl, by the way, guys. So I'm an expert now.
Woo
Um,
woo.
like literally in the last episode, the girl, Miss Howard was like, "Are those jelly beans on your belt?" Like my girl is going a little too far with the attempt to kind of be eccentric but homely, and it's just like, no, girl, this is not how we do it. You can still be presentable for the kids, presentable for the girls, not to whatever respectability politic term you want to throw in, and still kind of, tell who you are, which is just funny. But we say that to say, I also want to throw a bone right behind me to the homely girls because I get it. We
Yeah.
get it.
Well, I think
Yeah,
she will.
she
I
totally
think that
gives
she's
me
not actually trying to tell who she is, and I think that's the problem. Like she's
Right.
constantly
exactly.
minding everybody else's business and trying to fix everybody else's problems.
That's why she got jelly
That's
beans in her belt.
that's
Well,
why she
not
got the
only
fucking
does
jelly beans.
But she also gives me like art teacher vibes. Like, the
Yeah.
elementary school art teacher who is like really eccentric. She's not
Miss
necessarily
Lippy.
weird, but she's just like, her style is just so out there. And I mean, like I said, like at a certain point in my life, I kind of just, like you, Peach, I actually just, uh, God, I can't think of the word. I just accepted the fact that I have ass, I have titties, and it doesn't matter what I wear. I could have on a paper bag and people are still going to see ass and titties. So I'm just like, screw it. I'm going to wear what I want. If you think it's too tight, if I'm covered up, I don't care. Suck on it, whatever. And I just move on with my day. Am I getting my
This
job done? Yes.
is an
So
elementary.
otherwise, leave me alone.
Ma'am, please, this is an elementary school. We're in here right now. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
apologize. No, I cuss in front of my
Okay,
kids.
so
So
we going in on Tariq, and I see some men
yeah.
coming in here
So yeah,
and
back to
wanting to talk. I wanted to chit chat. Let's hear what the men have to say.
Wait, wait, wait,
okay.
wait, 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 wait. I gave it my turn. Can I say
Tariq,
something? Wait, I
Yeah.
gave it my turn. Can I say something?
hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear
Hold
me?
on. Can y'all hear me? Is my I'm in a different space doing the spaces. Okay. Did you want to speak, Sapio? I apologize.
Yeah, it's no problem. I just wanted to say, yeah, I kind of have hit on it. First of all, nobody ever says anything about the way art teachers dress, or even music teachers. I've had very eccentric music teachers, and I've had very eccentric art teachers, all the way up to high school, and nobody gives a fuck. And so I don't know what that social hierarchy is. Why some people can be weird and other people can't. You know what I mean? But I do think that it is, it's appropriate for her environment, and if the kids will let you know. I mean, as long as, and maybe that'll come in a future episode, but if the kids start roasting her about the way she dressed, then we know it's a problem. If the kids don't say nothing, then you feel what I'm saying? She's good. So that's just my take on that. I do think that, again, we are dealing with the teacher. The teacher archetype is a very loving, very nurturing, very responsible archetype, right? And so that personality, it would not be a far stretch, and is also very true to real life, that she would find somebody that she also then has to mother and take care of and nurture when she gets home. You know what I mean? Sometimes, professions are driven by personal insecurities, they're driven by inadequacies, they're driven by need to, prove something. If you listen to her in the assembly, she said that she didn't have any parental support or supervision. She said that she didn't have nobody to tell her to go to bed. She said she damn near had to potty train herself. You know what I mean? So I could
He
imagine
did say
the
that.
so I could imagine the overarching need to make sure that nobody feels that, you know what I mean? And that nobody has to go through that, even if it's another grown ass man. You feel me? And as women, we can all attest to that. You feel what I'm saying? We be trying to fix and help
Very,
people. You feel what I'm saying?
I,
Out the
I was about
wazoo.
to say.
Yeah.
Very
So
triggering. Very triggering.
yeah, it's very triggering.
Uh,
So it's like she just hasn't recognized her worth just yet, which is why I think that a person approaching her who has the same merit and is really on her same level as a Greg, you know what I mean? That can just be like, it's going to be the plausible deniability, right? She's going to keep having the cognizant dissonance that, oh, he don't really like me. He ain't trying to talk to me. And it's like, girl, like, yes, he is. Just don't be
I'm
a weirdo.
triggered. I'm triggered. And speaking of style, Gregory Eddie, my husband, has a great style. I love the way he comes dressed to work every day. Jacob be getting on my nerves. But Gregory dresses very nicely, very sexy. So I like that. But go ahead, Black Dynamite. We gonna get into Tariq a little. We're getting into Tariq a little bit. Did you have something to say about Tariq, or did you have other commentary, sir?
Um, Good evening to everybody. Oh, well, first of all, I was going to say my favorite character is the woman of God, Barbara Howard. Um, Only reason why, because the many times jobs I have had in the past years, of course, you always had that one Barbara Howard that was the real one that lets you know, like, baby, don't do that. You're gonna get fired. You're gonna get left behind. Don't do that. I know what I'm doing, and they are strict with their words, but they real. They're like the realest coworker you ever have, and you end up kind of being like, okay, I'm gonna hang out with this person a little bit more. I can get some secrets and know how to hang, and she'll look out for you too. She may not care about you, but she'll treat you like a grandchild and treat you like you one of hers. But anyway, and by Tariq, I think y'all pretty much said it on the map with about Janine. She is the Karen type. She's the one you see it as she try to get into quote unquote everybody's business, like how she was trying to get Eddie to decorate his room to be more lively and positive for the kids, and she incorporates that with Tyreek, where she probably just sees that as she sadly sees Tyreek as just a kid, someone to take care of, because she's talking about budget and paying rent, and most men, I would say, or just normal functioning adults, would be like, I gotta pay rent, I gotta save money, I gotta take care of stuff, even if I have a side hustle, I gotta take, I gotta make sure that I have money so I won't be depend on my side hustle to save my life or whatever. So I just think that y'all pretty much said about Tariq is just that she just, I think she so under her head of it that she just think that if she were to just leave him, it will probably just crush, it will probably crush her more than it will crush him. But she don't know that because, like I said, she just see him as
Ooh.
probably see him as one of the children that she look out for, like the kid that she was worried about sleeping in the about getting a rug in the first
On the
episode.
rug, right?
Right. And you saw how muttery she was about that. She wasted, like, she went through the whole episode for a rug. Now imagine that with Tyreek and his budget and not having rent money, but he want to go be a rapper,
Rapper.
junior
I
rapper.
can I just I love, 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 love what you're saying. And because we're watching a TV show, right? And she's a teacher in this show. She's a teacher. She's a what, kindergarten teacher? Am I right? Kindergarten, fifth grade, or like 5-year-olds, right?
I think she's like second grade.
Yeah, I think she's
Is it
first,
second
second
grade?
grade or something like
First,
that.
second
Yeah.
grade
Yeah.
teacher. Okay, so she's first, second grade. Miss Barbara is Miss Howard is the
The
5-year-olds, right?
kindergarten, yeah,
The
she
The
got the
kindergartners.
kindergarten.
kindergarten
Okay.
teacher.
Yeah.
And I love how they assign like grades to each of them because like the white boy is like 6th to 8th grade as well, which all of that checks out. It's a little bit of a commentary on that as well. But anyways, and so she's a first and second grade teacher. And so that's who her character is. She cares about her students. And so of course she's with this guy and it's like a mirror, it's like a parallel. That's why I love what you were saying, Black Dynamite, that like she's also feels like this is a student that she has to care for and not a boyfriend or an equal or a partner. And so because it's a TV show and we're seeing how that like feeds into her character, she's like, no, I got to take care of this man. Like, yes, he's an adult, but like I it's not like his fault that like life has brought him to this point. This is what she's saying, not me personally. But like she's like, it's not his fault. Like I gotta help him. Like, but I need him to be accountable. Just like when you teach students, like I need you to do what you need to, I need you to do your work. And so we see that parallel with her relationship. And I think it's just again a beautifully delicate way to like show that like she cares so much, but like baby girl, when you're teaching these students is very different than the way that you should be handling your personal relationships, which is why you need to go quickly to Gregory Eddy. Thank you so much. Please. Katie Lynn, I saw your hand up.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like that, she's just her whole identity is teacher. I feel like when she said she had to potty train herself, she decided to become a teacher, and that's just how she's been. That's how she dresses. That's her whole plan. And like, yeah, if she doesn't seem to have a sense of worth outside of, am I a good teacher? Do these other successful teachers think I'm a good teacher? Can I teach my boyfriend to be mature? Like, the idea of romance doesn't seem to occur to her. She doesn't seem to have any clue that dude's into her. So it's like the caretaking aspect and everything. She just can't stop.
I think the need to be valued supersedes the need to be desired. I think that for her, being valued and being seen as somebody that's valuable and that has something to contribute does translate into I'm desirable, I'm loved, I'm affirmed, and because it's
Right.
coming from such a we tend to be emotionally stunted at the time of whatever our trauma or traumas have happened, right? So even though our bodies and our minds grow and expand, sometimes we don't emotionally process things past that age that we were hurt. So if she's talking about something that she's talking about potty training and she's just really reliving, and I'm sure she's reliving the traumas of her childhood because she's in a school full of little reflections of those traumas. I mean, all them kids are, facets and pieces of things that she's experienced, probably had a neighbor experience, you know what I mean? Probably just narrowly escaped. And so, to your point about her identity being consumed by that, she's also not giving herself no outlets. I mean, her boyfriend won't even let her go to the party to go kick it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, what does she have outside of this environment of, like you said, rehabilitation and nurturing, and you know what I mean, trying to really, like I said, validate her own existence and experience and heal her own trauma through what she feels like she can give to others.
And I
Not
feel
y'all
like the
taking
other,
this. I
sorry.
love what y'all are doing here. Y'all are really digging into Janine right now and really appreciating the character of, like, excuse me, y'all. Not this
And y'all,
80 minutes, this beautiful, delicate, like, assessment of Janine. Because y'all are right. Like, we see this every freaking episode. Again, it's hilarious every time. That's why I'm, like, kind of, like, shocked that we're, like, kind of looking at this a little bit more deeper, because this is supposed to be fun and lighthearted. But, like, Janine is quite literally in every relationship. Think about how every time she has a little monologue for the breaking the fourth wall, for, like, what she wants to do with Barbara. Oh my god, I just love her so much. Like, oh my god, I hope she needs me this time. Like,
And you remember
finally,
when she
like, in
slipped
this
and
last
called her
episode, she was
mom?
like,
You remember when she slipped and called her
yes,
mom, and she was like, "Mom, I mean, Miss Howard."
we
Miss Howard. That was in the beginning, but, like, in the end, she, in this last episode, she was like, well, I think she's gonna need me now, because, like, she's gonna need me now. And so, like, finally, and I love that it was a bar. It was like, finally, she's gonna need me, and so that means we're peers now.
no.
It
Can
was
we
also like
speak
a
to the?
little stab at, like, what it meant. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I want you to finish. You're the host. Go.
No, so I just love, like, this delicate, like, assessment of Janine right now, because she thinks everything is a project. Even the person she looks up to, she thinks that person is a project. And she decides, like, oh my gosh, Miss Barbara Howard is gonna need me to help her with these new little tablets that we have, that the principal said that we need to, like, make sure all of our kids can read and how advanced they're gonna get. And in, like, less than 20 minutes, we're seeing that Janine does not see herself as this, like, desirable character. And I think, Sapio, you said, like, she wants to be valued, but the only way she feels valuable is if she helps somebody. And she needs to find out eventually that, like, you could be valued in other ways instead of
Or
just,
that
like,
you're
what
just
you do for other people.
you're just inherently valuable because you exist. There is no like there's no exchange or transaction that
Right.
has to happen for you to be loved. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can just stand, you feel me, as Harley was saying, in a paper bag, and you still hold all the value in the world. You're still worthy. You
Correct.
still deserving of respect and care and love. You know what I mean? So it's like
Not
she
as
gives she
not
gives
as
me
peeling back
Virgo.
the layers of
And
Janine.
let's also be clear, because so much of that identity is based on performing, like fixing people's problems, doing
Being
things for other
needed.
people. So going back to that idea of your value is inherent and not a result of anything that you're doing. I think we're all just hoping to see her get treated how she wants to actually be treated, even if she hasn't articulated it. Like y'all were saying earlier, like her reactions to Gregory actually doing things and being cognizant and listening to her and taking her, like, she's so starved for attention. Jesus, that poor baby. I'm triggered. That's
She
my
has no
friend.
And can I also just say,
like that.
can I also just say really quickly, like, I love the exchange between between her and Greg, when she was like, "No, like, I'm finna fix these lights, and there's not nothing that's gonna stop me." And he was like,
He
"Nothing," and
said
she
that
was like,
ladder.
"No," she was like,
Nothing.
"Nothing," and he was like, "Okay, but what if you gotta climb a ladder? Seems like that might be a bit of a problem." And she was like, "No, fuck that." Like,
And
I'm
he
so
wasn't
that,
trying to
glad you brought up
gaslight
the
her.
ladder because the way homeboy talked her through it,
yeah,
oh my God.
Okay.
Oh
And
my
so that was
God.
the thing. He wasn't
And the way
gaslighting
that
her.
exactly, he was there for her when she was climbing up that ladder. And did you see
And
how he wanted to help her when she needed to get down?
held
but
her
That's a real
hand.
man.
even when she was telling him what she was gonna do, he was like, "Okay, understood, but maybe think about this part." Like,
This
or
way.
okay, well, you
Come
know
on.
what? You don't care. I'm not gonna antagonize you. I'm not gonna diminish your feelings or ignore you. I'm just gonna be here to help when you need it. Okay? Like,
Mm.
that's
I
love,
think
Who
B.
said
and
That's
he
who
didn't
said
romance.
force it on her
earlier?
either. He didn't force it on her. He didn't judge her because she was going to do it anyway. He was just like, you know what? I'm going to play. I'm going to step back. I'm going to let you do your thing. And if you need me, holler at me. And then I'll do what I got to do to take care of it. But I see you. You got this, boo boo. And peace.
We
And
seeing
male,
it right now. Did
female.
y'all also see? Go ahead, Sapia. Go
I was
ahead. Go
gonna say,
ahead.
like, male, female, non-binary, like, it doesn't matter. Like, isn't that what all people want? Like, all you really want is somebody to support you and to know that, you know what I mean, that they have your best interest at heart. And even if you need to go out there and explore and like tumble a little bit, that, you know what I mean, you do got somewhere safe that you can come back to, and somebody that's not going to judge
I
you.
know that's right. And somebody earlier was like, to make her thing go woo woo. That is correct. Because that's what he did. And I don't know if y'all remember, but afterwards, when she was kind of embarrassed about what she did with the light bulb, y'all please watch the episode too if y'all have not seen it. He was standing next to her at the end when she was kind of like, you know, like I'm always trying to help stuff, and like I guess I should have just kind of stayed out of it or whatever. And he was standing next to her, standing right beside her, as a man should, as a real man should. And he was just like, yeah, well, it's okay. Like at least you know things worked out in the end. Like, isn't that what we all need? Like that's what we all need. Like I
Yes,
just
he
I just
didn't let
need
her
to feel
self
like,
deprecate.
hey, yes. And while she's there, like, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. He's like, well, it's okay. And then he was like, you haven't eaten yet. Or I don't know. I'm probably getting it like chronologically messed up, but I know there was a time where he was literally like, the scene was just him standing next to her, standing beside her, which to me was like,
It was when he
look
was.
who's standing beside you. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I don't think he was directly, but I think he was directly beside her. But the scene
Yeah.
where they had the most closeness was actually when he was standing a little far away from her, and he was standing next to Miss Howard, and she said, "If you want something, go for it." And he looked directly at her. She smiled and looked away, and he kept looking at her. You could tell right then and there that he really did have feelings for her and wanted to get to know her as a human being and person.
Yes.
Like Tariq don't know her.
And in her lowest moments where she was like trying to self-deprecate, and then didn't he ask her to go out to lunch because she hadn't eaten because her man took away,
And then
like,
that's when
And
she
then
started,
Jacob
and that's when she started
jumped
inviting
in.
him to go, which is the thing that I'm confused about, because in what world? And I guess this just shows how like rudimentary and elementary she actually is in her interactions. But girl, this man do not want to go to IKEA with you and choose no bed with you and your man. Like who in what world, girl? Like you over there. Now
girl.
that was weird. That was that to me was like, okay, girl, you need some like,
Did you see his face when she said that? I actually just got done watching that. Did you see his face
right? He
when
was like,
he was
girl.
like,
He was like, haha,
No,
no.
yeah, no, not my type of party.
No.
No.
he hit that TikTok
But
sound.
let
He
me
hit her with that.
but let me tell you how unwavered my guy was, okay? He was like, no. But whenever y'all done with IKEA, that date still stands, baby girl, okay? And he was just unfazed. And I just love that. Like, he definitely looked at her and was like, no, I'm not going to IKEA with y'all. But, like, I already see how this is going to go. I'm going to keep putting in my work. Don't even worry about it, baby. Like, I got you. So that's what I was trying to say is that, like, it's clear that Gregory is going to help her character arc throughout the show. I hope it's a million seasons. I love it. I love it. I could do this all day. Just 20 minutes of dedication to laughter, but like still like very serious issues and things that we're used to. So, Gregory, I'm a fan. Who I don't know who said it earlier, but like I really don't want to see the dark side of Gregory. I think they've already kind of like tried to show that like, hey, he quote unquote doesn't really care, but clearly he does about the students and stuff. But he's like maybe in a different space that Janine is. And like this is how y'all lose your girls, man. This is how you lose your girls if you're a heterosexual man. This is how you lose her.
That work
Because
husband,
you
that work
take
husband is a
taken from her
dangerous thing.
that you keep okay. Let me tell y'all, welcome to What We Watch. Follow What We Watch Film TV. This is how you lose your girl. When you keep taking away from her, as Tariq did, taking her a lovely breakfast sandwich or whatever, and then the work husband is like, hey, you need lunch? I know you didn't eat. I know you're a little lightheaded. Let me take you out. That's how y'all lose them. But go ahead. Exponentially thick.
So I feel as though Gregory's boldness in that moment of that absolute just God, that was so awkward. I'm sorry. Can we just say this show is so awkward, but it's one of those awkward, cringy moments where like you can't look away and you appreciate it for its awkwardness. But I just wanted to crawl into a hole and die when she invited him to our kid. Boy, I would have acted like Tariq was dead. I would have been like, I'm recently widowed, baby.
He's
Anyway,
just so clueless, and that's what makes it so interesting. But
and
continue, sorry.
Gregory was so no, it's okay. Gregory was so unfazed, and the way he continued and was like, "Yeah, let's whenever you're ready." He knows Tariq is a simp.
He's probably not even going to remember Tariq's name. I don't know, men in here, this is your moment. You know when another man is a simp. You know when another man ain't doing right for his girlfriend, and you can swoop in and do what it
Go
do.
in and get him, girl. Go in
That
and get him for
competitive
me.
Maybe.
spirit.
But here we go.
Uh,
At the end of the day, though, it's not just about the fact that he knows that Tariq ain't worth a damn. What really is going to have to happen is there needs to be a transformation, just like all of you were talking about how she sees herself. Because there's this other level of, like, I remember when I was in college, I was an RA, and I became an RA for a lot of the same reason that Janine became a teacher, where it was like, I had such a fucking shitty ass time that I was like, I want to try and help these kids as much as I can. I want to be there for them. I want to make sure that nothing can go wrong in their lives if I can try and prevent it. And for her, as a teacher, like you guys are all saying, she's trying to give back and she's trying to make sure that, like, hey, I can do, and she has not fully come to she hasn't come to a place where she understands her true role. Like, I think that there is a level of, you know, she sees it as an opportunity for like teaching everybody, but also I think we don't know very much about how the other teachers view her. Like, we see it, but they all seem in some ways like amused but also annoyed by her. Like, especially Miss Howard, like the reason that she's, you know, so anxious or so kind of like, oh my god, I want you to like me, I just want you to like me. And the only way that she can see herself being liked, like you guys mentioned, was in being helpful. Because for a lot of people, they're like, look, we are self-reliant, we have our shit figured out already, I don't know what to do with you. And she doesn't have an identity outside, like you guys said, she doesn't have an identity outside of that. And so it'll be interesting how they really try and bring that out, or dive deep on that, because I don't know. That's a very difficult transformation for someone to make when they are an adult.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love and it further drives home why she's a teacher though, right? Because these are excellent qualities for a teacher to have. These are perfect qualities. The patience, the gentleness, the you're okay, I can help you through this. I forgive you for the things that you've done. Hey, pay attention. I'm going to work to get you the resources that you need to move forward. Like, these are all great things for a teacher, but they're not good things for like establishing relationships and boundaries between your coworkers. They're not good for like creating relationships and boundaries with your personal relationship that's romantic with a heterosexual man.
Especially not
So
with older
I love that they
people.
showed that. You said what?
Especially not with older people. Like, they hate that. Yo, I don't know if y'all have been
Yes.
around like middle-aged coworkers, but they hate that. I'm literally in Janine's situation right now, man. Like, okay, I know I don't sound like it. I know I've sound like I've been around the earth a couple times, but I haven't. I'm only 23. Although my life pretty much mirrors Janine's. I was in a relationship with a guy like Tariq for 5 years since I was in high school. He's a SoundCloud rapper. Idiot. Found my worth. You know, like, Janine is literally a young woman in her 20s, growing and learning, trying to figure out how to love herself, build relationships with her coworkers, and just generally navigate through the world. What you were saying, Ash Mitchie, about how you don't really know how her coworkers see her. We kind of already do, because they were her. They all told her at one point, hey, we know how you feel. We all had that moment.
That was in the pilot episode.
Yes, and Janine, she's that character where she wants to save the world. And I think we've all had a job like that, y'all, where you just feel like, okay, this is an important job in society. I'm going to do this well. Everything's going to go perfect, and I'm going to help people.
And I
Child,
love the
former
that they put.
CNA. Mm-mm.
Mystical Blue, please. I see your hand up.
Oh yeah. So talking about Janine is really not going to see her worth until she's done with Tariq. And I know it's fact. Like, I'm a teacher. My husband was a teacher. I was a soul. His mom's a teacher. And I was asked to describe myself without saying what I do for a living. I couldn't do it. I was like, I had to sit and really think about what it is. I've been a teacher for so long. We've put like our whole lives into teaching. I'm sitting right now here listening to you all, and I'm doing lesson plans. So it's just like,
I love what you just said.
we do that. And now after him passing, when he passed, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so now I'm in the process of trying to figure out everything now. It's just weird. But so she's not going to
You like
realize that
to
until Tariq is gone. And she's like, okay, now what? what do I do? How do I discover myself?
And that's because being a teacher is so labor intensive, but the labor isn't always in the work, it's emotional labor, right? And so that's what
It,
people are not understanding, that this is all consuming, and it does end up being a lifetime thing because you are emotionally consumed and environmentally consumed by the things that you do. I mean, I don't know, I don't remember who it was that said that their family member taught in Atlanta schools, but I, through Georgia Tech, taught in APS for a little while. And I'm also a Montessori student myself, but I also taught at Montessori schools uh, in College Park in Georgia. And, just different educational like platforms and resources are completely different. And so just seeing the way that kids are inoculated and like incubated in different learning systems is also very interesting. But
yeah,
yeah, like the public school system is definitely, very much
it's
what they
some
are describing. And in some cases it's, of course we know a trillion times worse, you know what I mean? But one thing that for me is a unifying theme that's consistent throughout is how much these people really do care. Now, you definitely get teachers that are like, fed up. You definitely get teachers that have been there so long they're just trying to get their pension and get out. But especially for the mid career and the beginning ones, they are down for the ride and they are buckled in a way that I wonder often what that leaves for their family members in their personal relationships. Now, the thing that I want to say about her and Tyler is that just like we can make all types of speculations and assumptions about what Janine is and why Janine is and how Janine's personality came to be based off of her experiences. Obviously, Tyler, the way he acts his character, it's very guarded, it's kind of hard-nosed, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you said, like nonchalant, like he doesn't really care. But to me, with me being the type of person I am, if I saw him, I would say, there's something that's going on with him too. I mean, there's a reason that he's that way. You know what I mean? And that's probably because of lack of nurture as well. He probably has very similar experiences, we could presume, to the kids in his classroom as well. And
Right,
I'm
right.
just saying all that to say that he is probably a better vessel at this point in Janine's life for the particular way that she likes to nurture and love. I mean, even just like the way that she came in and was able to affirm him and encourage him with, putting them pictures up on the wall. Or when she came in, she was like, yeah, it looks like you just went to the store. You know what I mean? And just got
Yeah.
some posters.
I
Not
know
really what we talked about, but okay, we could try it again. Like they have a good,
this.
a good, a good way they can like bounce off of each other. But speaking long term to all that y'all saying, because her idea of self is so underdeveloped, you know what I mean? It doesn't really have a foundation right now. At some point, for as much as we would like to ship Tyler and Janine together, or Greg and Janine together, in real life, if this were real life, that would inevitably change as well because Janine is not her real self right now. She's not even who she actually is or who she will be. And, because she's so young, when we get in these relationships, we're only getting in them with the iteration of ourselves as we are in that moment. We're not thinking about,
And what I
again, our
Right.
future
And what I
selves.
appreciate about the show is what you're saying. Like, they're letting us slow burn with this relationship. And that, because again, I don't need Janine to be changed too much at all right now because I could watch her and Greg shoot a shot and her kind of delicately and extremely awkwardly, secondhand embarrassmently shoot it down. And like, please take your time, Abbott Elementary, with showing us this beautiful little slow burn. Cause like, it's again, I said this at the beginning of the space. It's such a delicate, easy show to watch, and we don't have to get too deep into the weeds of any. My fault, y'all. I to close in 5 minutes, but I wanted Mystical Blue to finish what she was saying because I love what you were saying as a teacher, as someone who was married to a teacher, and all of that stuff too. But I just had to say that like that relationship, these relationships that are building slowly, is in this comedic value is just.
oh, oh, but yeah, like so it's very emotionally taxing. It's a lot, and it left like very little for me to even do anything. I would stay up late doing stuff. He's like, "Come to bed, go to sleep." I'm like, I can't because I was trying to live up to his thing. He was an awesome teacher. He was an awesome teacher, and then I try to in my own teaching do what he was doing. And then it was crazy today. I saw a kid who I've only taught virtually. He's not even on my grade level. He's not in my course load. He came running up the steps, jumped up on me, and was like, "Hey!" He was just so super happy to see me. And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome." But that's the kind of stuff that we deal with. We deal with the emotional stuff. We fill the voids, and it is very taxing. That's just it.
Do y'all think that she's gonna break up with Tyreek, or that he's gonna break up with her. Like I feel like he's gonna end up breaking up with her, and but
I think she's gonna end up having enough, like how Mystical was just talking about how it's so emotionally taxing. I think she's finally gonna have a come to Jesus moment and just realize, like, you know what, I'm too grown for this. I don't think it's necessarily going to be too much of a blow up, but I definitely feel like she's going to be like, you know what, Jody, get the F. And if you can't budget, if you can't participate, if you can't contribute, I'm not going to carry you anymore. Because essentially, with the kind of teacher that I interpret Janine to be, she is going to want to spend a lot of time nurturing and caring for her students, and she is going to have that epiphany where she's like, you know what, I do this for second graders, I'm not going to keep doing this for a grown-ass man. And that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in seeing. And when she does come around to it, and she's like, you know, like we talked about earlier with Greg, you know, doing certain things for her and helping her without her even having to ask, she's just going to be like, you know what, it doesn't have to be this hard. And so I'm going to help my life not be that hard by getting rid of people who make things too difficult.
I
And
And
that's
really hope
literally
that
all I
happens.
wanted to say.
I would be interested to see that happen because as much as I'm like, yes, I want that, I also am thinking when you have people who, you know, don't have a strong sense of self, when you have people who don't, who like might look at what Greg's doing and saying, oh, he's just being nice. Oh my gosh, thank you so, so much. Who don't even understand, I guess, what's going like they need someone to explicitly point out, like, hey, this person's doing this because they like you. Like, why can't you see that? And I think I want her to end that relationship. I just don't know how long it's going to take that to actually happen. Like I feel like it's going to like her boyfriend's going to have to do something very big and suddenly it's going to like shift. I just don't
well,
know what big thing
and
he's
that's
going to need to do to get that point.
so from a TV show perspective, we love the show because of the dynamic between the characters as we see them right now. But what I think is going to be really cool that the writers are definitely going to do eventually, maybe this is a season 2, season 3 type beat. I don't know. But as we see the change, like, because come on, like, if you think about it, her and Gregory dating while she's at work, also prioritizing that she's a teacher, and him being a sub trying to be a principal, that's a fun dynamic too. I know that Quinta and the rest of her team could write that hilarious, you know, kind of season or whatever as well. But I forget who it was. I think maybe it was Mystical Blue that said it, Lady Scorsese that said it earlier in a way. And, you know, much love to our boy Shelton. We love you. We love the babies. So thank you for sharing that. But yeah, the line between being a teacher or your profession defining who you are. I love that line that you said earlier. And I love how eventually the show is going to kind of be like, where is Janine's line between being a teacher and being a girlfriend or being a wife or being a friend to somebody else? Because I don't even know, like, have we met? Does Janine have friends outside of work? Like, I don't even think she has that. And so I'm seeing like season 2 she comes around and she kind of finds a way to kind of separate herself from work just a little bit, still have a ton of passion, stop needing the approval of Mrs. Howard because she's clearly never going to get it. You know, same way, same relationship with Jacob, but like she starts dating Gregory Eddie. And I think somebody had said it, the only way that that's going to happen is I think my theory is Tariq is going to leave her. Tariq has to leave her. Janine's not leaving Tariq. And I don't know if y'all agree or not. 100 emoji if y'all agree, but peace emoji if y'all don't. Tariq is going to leave her. I don't see Janine having a character arc or a writing that shows that she can leave him. He's going to do something dirty to her, and then we're gonna have. I'm like literally getting warm and tingly. The when Gregory is gonna like be there for her when Tariq leaves her or like cheats on her. I'm
That's
not
what's
saying I'm
going to
gonna be
happen.
happy that you know he cheats on her, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's definitely he's gonna leave her pain in pain. And then Greg, doctor, why don't you call him a doctor? You see how I'm just like projecting onto what my man is? Anyways, Mr. Gregory Eddie is going to be there for her. And that's where I see this TV show going because I love the in-depth like character assessments, but I also want us to like really kind of come out a little bit of the granular discussion, just kind of appreciate from like a television perspective how these relationships are playing. What would be funny? How can we make a lot of these things that are inner city issues for the schools and the relationships between like all of us? Like we don't have to be a teacher to understand how difficult it is to create and form like meaningful relationships at work. Like, do we want to? Is this a thing? Do y'all care? We know we know the Janine in our job if there is one. We know the Mrs. Howard in our job if there is one. We know the Jacob in our industry if there is one. So like I love seeing that. So we got a couple more minutes. We got one more minute left. Did anyone want to close out? Any last bars? Give me one concise bar. You got like 5 to 10 seconds. Give me some love. Give us some praise for Quinta. Exponentially Thick, go ahead.
You're right. Tariq will not leave her, but he is not emotionally mature enough to properly break up with her on his own respectfully. He will keep doing dumb shit to push her away and annoy her and harm her until he no longer has a choice but to leave. That is all. He's a bastard. That is all.
Thank you. And we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back and maybe like in another couple episodes. Because again, I just love how this is just 20 minutes of fun. But look how we just talked in here for about an hour and a half, just really kind of peeling back the layers of Janine and my Italian girl who had to make some branzino. And Janine ruined that for her. And like just Jacob, the white male Katie Heron, like these are characters that they built in that writer's room that we can all really appreciate, and they're attacking really sensitive subjects about underfunded public schools. And let's be clear, like Black kids, we're looking at Black children. You don't see a lot of white children in the show. Are there any? I don't know if there's any actually. But we're seeing the education of Black children and what that means, and we're seeing the levity there. So I'm just so happy that we got to get in this space and talk about what Abbott Elementary is representing and all the love. Like if you follow Quinta on Twitter, she loves every discussion about it. She'll interact with your tweets and she'll like your tweets and everything. It trends every single week. So thank you for joining. Paris, I see you're requesting. We're about to close out this space right now. But thank you, everyone. Hashtag what we watch with all of your thoughts about Abbott Elementary and anything else that y'all want to discuss. We love you guys. And shout out Quinta for helping us create this space. We are out. Bye, guys.